Welcome back to Your Greatness Magnified, where we talk about the deadly sins of recognition. These are the things you do not want to do because your efforts will go nowhere, and if anything, could have the opposite effect of what you want. So let's talk about some of the issues as to why this is even something that we need to pay attention to. Number one, we have to be able to retain good people, and we are in a talent shortage that shows no signs of easing until 2030. So avoiding the deadly sins means that we're more likely to retain our best people. Number two, people say they have no time for recognition. So when they have no time, sometimes we sort of rush it, it's not authentic, or we just don't do it at all. I think you're probably starting to get some foreshadowing happening about what are some of the deadly sins I'm going to be talking about. Next thing is that it cannot be a small army of HR and organizational development people who are doing this. So that's a big problem in organizations where we seem to delegate the majority of recognition. But you know what? These are all things that are telling us that we're not practicing recognition in a way that boosts productivity, retains our best people, and allows our customers also to feel appreciated as well. So let's get right into some of the solutions to so that you can avoid these issues. Number one, avoid the shoulds and tokenism. If you're just doing recognition because somebody told you should, or because you have to, or you're doing it the way that somebody else did it, that's perhaps not going to work for you. I mean, maybe it will work for you, but what's your authentic way in which you want to recognize people? Number two, I'm going to suggest that don't make it all about the gifts and the money, because although in some cultures, I mean, if you're a very compensation-based culture, this is where the gift certificates and the bonuses can work as your number one way in which you recognize people. However, in most cultures, it's the personal piece that means so much. And so I really would suggest avoid the deadly sin of thinking that you don't recognize something unless you've got a gift certificate or a bonus to attach to it. The next thing is, please don't make recognition about something that happens once a year. That long service award or that week where we celebrate this group of professionals. If you wait until recognizing somebody once a year, besides the fact that, of course, you're probably recognizing a whole group of people and people don't feel special and personalized, you're missing out on a huge opportunity to make sure that people know that they're valued. I mean, what happens if something the day after that recognition event, they did something amazing? How likely are they going to keep doing that if, in fact, they keep doing something amazing and going above and beyond and it doesn't get noticed? It's pretty hard to have that momentum to give your discretionary effort to something that seems to fall into the black hole of appreciation or value. And I'm not saying people will only do great things when they're valued, but where's the feedback loop that tells people to keep doing it? It's working, it's worth the effort. We need you to keep doing that. And lastly, that we treat it as a numbers game. That unless we have a group of people to acknowledge, that we're not going to put a lot of energy into it. And yet, there are people such as one of your staff members who have decided to go back to school and they're doing their MBA while also working full time. Well, why not celebrate that person and that milestone success? That's a lot of energy and effort. That's a lot of dedication to still be working for you full time while they're going back and doing that. So, celebrate the small things, even if it's in small numbers, in small ways, and it doesn't have to take much money to do that. So here are some of the deadly sins that I see. What other deadly sins do you see? And of course, please comment on that so that we can not only capture that in future vlogs and talk more about it so that we have strong recognition cultures, but also it's important for us to share as a community some of these things so that we don't get caught up in the trap of practices that aren't helpful. And of course, like always, you're welcome to jump onto my Cool Stuff page, download all kinds of resources and tools that will help you practice recognition really effectively, as opposed to fall into some of the other deadly sins of recognition. My name's Sarah McVanel. Be well and be great.